Birds are the best liars in the pet world, not intentionally, but effectively. A budgie can be genuinely unwell for days or even weeks before showing any sign that most owners would recognize as illness. Their survival instinct is so powerful and so deeply wired that they will eat normally, they will sit on their perch normally, they will even vocalize somewhat normally, all while something serious is developing inside them. By the time the obvious signs appear, the situation is often urgent. And urgent with a bird is measured in hours, not days. Today I am going to show you 7 signs that your budgie is sick. Most of them are subtle. All of them appear before the dramatic, obvious collapse that most owners associate with a sick bird. Learning these signs is one of the most important things you can do for a budgie you love. Sign 1. Fluffed feathers. During active hours. Budgies fluff their feathers. That is completely normal. When they are settling in for a nap, they fluff up to conserve heat. When they are comfortable and relaxed, they may be slightly puffed, but a budgie that is fluffed up during the active parts of the day. During the morning, when they should be chattering and moving. During midday, when the room is at a comfortable temperature and there is no reason to conserve heat. That is different. Persistent daytime fluffing is the body trying to conserve energy and maintain temperature when something has disrupted the normal balance. It is a non-specific sign, which means it does not point to one particular illness. But it points clearly to the fact that something is wrong. The key word is persistent. A budgie that fluffs briefly and then returns to normal activity is fine. A budgie that stays fluffed for hours while they would usually be active is telling you their body is working harder than it should be just to maintain baseline. Watch your bird at their most active times of day. Know what normal looks like, because the deviation from normal is the signal. Sign 2. Tail bobbing with each breath. This one requires you to watch your bird breathe, and once you know what to look for, you will check it automatically every time you look at your budgie. A healthy bird breathes in a way that is essentially invisible. The body is still, the tail is still. You might see a tiny movement in the chest, but it is subtle. A bird with respiratory distress breathes differently. The effort required to move air is greater, and that effort recruits extra muscles, including the muscles of the tail. The result is a tail that bobs visibly up and down with each breath. Tail bobbing is a serious sign. It means the respiratory system is not functioning normally. The causes range from infection to air sac issues to more serious conditions. But all of them require veterinary attention, and all of them are more treatable the earlier they are caught. If you see your budgie's tail bobbing rhythmically with each breath, do not wait to see if it improves. Call an avian vet the same day. Sign 3. Sitting on the bottom of the cage. This is the sign that veterinarians describe as an emergency signal. A bird at the bottom of their cage is a bird in serious trouble. Budgies are perch animals. Every instinct they have tells them to be elevated. Elevation means safety from ground-based predators. A bird on the ground or on the bottom of the cage is a bird whose body no longer has enough energy or strength to maintain what is for them the most fundamental of all behaviors. When you see this, the question is not whether to go to the vet. The question is how quickly you can get there. In the hours or days before a budgie reaches this point, there will have been other signals: the fluffed feathers, the quieter than usual vocalizations, the slightly less interest in food, the tail bob you may or may not have noticed. By the time they are on the floor, those earlier signs are past. What is happening now is acute. Move quickly. Sign 4. Changes in droppings. Budgie droppings are a daily health report that most owners throw away without reading. A healthy budgie dropping has 3 components. A dark solid center, which is the fecal portion, a white or cream chalky area, which is the urets, and a small amount of clear liquid. Changes in any of these components can signal illness. Entirely liquid droppings or droppings that are much wetter than usual can indicate kidney issues or infection. Droppings that are completely absent of the white urate portion may indicate liver problems. Black or very dark droppings can indicate internal bleeding. Droppings that are unusually green and watery are often associated with stress but can also indicate infection. You do not need to be a veterinarian to monitor this. You just need to look at the paper at the bottom of the cage regularly enough to know what your bird's normal looks like. That baseline is everything. Because the change is the signal. Any significant change in dropping appearance that persists for more than a day warrants a call to your avian vet. Sign 5. The keel bone test. This one requires you to gently pick up your budgie and feel their chest. Running down the center of a bird's chest is a bony ridge called the keel bone. In a bird that is at a healthy weight, the keel bone is palpable, but the muscles on either side of it are full enough that it does not feel sharp or prominent. Think of it like pressing gently on your own sternum. You can feel the bone, but there is tissue on either side of it. In a bird that has been losing weight, those muscles waste away, and the keel bone becomes sharp and prominent, like a knife edge. If you run your finger along your budgie's chest and the keel bone feels sharp and protruding, that bird has lost significant body mass. Birds are so effective at maintaining their normal appearance while losing weight that this often comes as a shock to owners. The bird looked fine, they were eating, they were moving, and yet they have lost 30% of their body weight. The keel bone test takes 5 seconds. Do it once a week. It is one of the most reliable ways to catch illness before it becomes an emergency. Sign 6. Sleeping. During active hours, budgies have a rhythm. They are most active in the morning and again in the late afternoon and evening. They nap during midday. They sleep at night. When that pattern breaks, when your budgie is sleeping during the times they are usually their most active, when they are sitting with eyes closed on their perch at 10 in the morning when they would normally be chattering and moving, something is wrong. Sleep during active hours is the body directing resources away from normal activity and toward repair. It is an energy conservation response to illness or injury. Combined with fluffed feathers and reduced vocalization and any of the other signs we have covered, this is a picture that tells a clear story. This is a bird whose body is under pressure from something it should not be dealing with. Sign 7. A sudden change in how much they are talking or singing. We talked in the previous video about how silence from a normally vocal bird is one of the earliest illness signals, but it is worth examining exactly what kind of change to watch for. It is not necessarily complete silence. It might be a bird that normally sings elaborate songs and has shifted to only making brief contact calls, a bird that usually engages in long chattering sessions and now only chirps occasionally, a bird that spent their days mimicking sounds from around the house and has stopped producing those more complex vocalizations entirely. The brain and the body are connected. When a bird is directing energy toward fighting illness, the higher order activities are the first to drop. Elaborate song, complex mimicry, extended playful vocalization. These are luxury behaviors. The body stops funding them when it has more urgent things to spend resources on. You know your bird's vocal personality better than anyone. Trust what you know. If something about the way they are sounding is different in a way you cannot quite name but that feels wrong, it is probably worth a phone call to your avian vet just to describe what you are observing. 7 signs that your budgie may be sick before the situation becomes an emergency. Persistent daytime fluffing when they should be active, tail bobbing with each breath, sitting on the bottom of the cage, changes in droppings, the keel bone becoming sharp to the touch, sleeping during their normally active hours, and changes in the complexity or frequency of their vocalizations. None of these require you to be a vet, they require you to know your bird, to look at them every day with attention rather than just presence. The owners who catch illness early in birds are not the ones with the most veterinary knowledge. They are the ones who know what normal looks like, and who pay enough attention to notice when something has shifted. Find an avian vet before you need one. Know the number. Know where the practice is. Know their after-hours protocol. Because with birds, the time between noticing something is wrong and needing to act is always shorter than you think. I will see you in the next one.